Hey man, how you doing?
What's up, man? Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday.
Yep.
Oh, there we go. I tell you, man, it's just been one of those days. Been one of those days.
Yeah.
But the day is almost over, and tomorrow's another day. Tomorrow's another day. So, anyway, welcome everybody. Welcome to Facebook Live with Mel Raposo. We are live. Absolutely, Tom.
Yep.
Welcome everybody. Yeah. Hope you guys all having a great day or evening. Hope you guys got to see the two planets that came within 400 billion miles of each other, whatever, supposedly real close. We never got to see it because the clouds was too much last night.
Mm.
So, but anyway, tonight, everybody will have a couple of small businesses here on Kauai. Japanese Grandma's Cafe from out there in Hanapepe, as well as Lyndsey Haraguchi from Hanalei Poi. So it'll be a fun night. Talking Star with two. Kurt Favela is on our show. Geez, Senator Favela, welcome, along with all of everyone else. I just saw his name pop up on the. I gotta call you, Kurt. We want to get you on the show maybe next week, discuss some things. But anyway, um, yeah. So we'll talk a little bit small business. We'll find out about Grandma Keiko and Lyndsey, amazing women, two amazing women. It'll be
Yeah.
fun, man. It'll be fun. How was
Well,
your day, Charles? It was
I
nice
saw.
seeing you, by the way. It was nice seeing you in person, man. A lot of
Yeah.
people probably think we see each other a lot, but no, we see each other a lot online. But today I actually got to see you, man, in person. Man, what an honor.
Most of the time, for those who are not familiar with the island of Kauai, if you look at the map and you look where Waimea is in relation to Lihue or any other partner, we're sort of like Hanalei, Princeville is one direction, Waimea, Kikaha is another direction. And we have a tendency of when we get a chance to meet, we meet up right in the middle. And when you're
Right
on a,
in the middle, man.
and when you're on an island, unlike Oahu, where you have multiple choices, right? H3 cutting over to Kaneohe, going along the highway there, or going up to Wahiawa over to Haleiwa. However you want to traverse the island, you have multiple choices. Kauai is one road, Kaumuali'i Highway or Kuhio Highway.
Yeah,
That's it. You
that's it,
got no
man.
other choices. So
That's it.
if something happens, you have an accident, oh, we just pull out your peanut butter sandwich and kick back and wait till the traffic clears.
We had the opportunity to meet at Lihue Airport, Hawaiian Airlines cargo to pick up the gifts from a very very special friend Kiala Wolf out there on the Big Island.
She's
She
amazing.
amazing. She sent over three bikes and some goodies for Hoku Dusenberry Lee, who's doing the toy drive on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
So we picked it up
Yep.
and
A
yeah, it
nice
was awesome.
was a nice time. It's and the funny thing about it, and and I am just so thankful to the viewership. You get into Hawaiian Airlines and you're greeted with such enthusiasm, and they tell you it's just, oh, we watch your show every night. And I just can't thank the gang over at Air Cargo, Hawaiian Airline Cargo, uh, Carol Kinimaka and the gang. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm glad you folks get to see two local guys just making any kind on Facebook.
We I was just telling Melissa, we provide a vehicle. We provide a vehicle to get information out to the people. That's what we do. We get a lot of compliments and a lot of really nice things said about us. But yeah, you're right, Charlie. We're just two normal local brothers trying to provide information to everybody. And in the last 9 months or 10 months, we are like we keep saying, man, we've created this ohana, this family that we feel like we've known forever and ever and ever. I gotta say today, more gifts are being donated for Hoku's drive, and Hoku is running around like a chicken without a head, meeting all these people, picking up the stuff. I tell you what, man, Christmas Day is going to be so special for so many kids here on Kauai.
Yeah.
uh, I mean, I get emotional talking about it because I know that these kids, if not for Hoku and all the wonderful donors, um, Christmas wouldn't be. I mean, I know what it's like. It's just, everyone else is opening up their Xboxes and their motorcycles and their bicycles, and you're not. And so this is just amazing. A lot of these kids are going to be so thrilled. And again, thanks to all of you that have stepped up and donated. And I know, you know what? I know not everybody's in a position, everybody's having a rough time. So
Hmm.
for those that cannot, just say a prayer, man. Say a prayer. Ask God to bless these wonderful angels out there that are doing things for our kids and our kupuna and everybody else. So I'm excited for Christmas Day, man. I mean, it's going to be empty here. We just as with many of us, we're going to be separated from our kids, but the spirit is alive, and we got to make sure that we keep that spirit alive. And Hoku is creating that spirit for so many kids, and I'm just proud to know the guy, and thankful for all of you that are doing in your own way, doing something to make Christmas special for somebody. That's cool.
Well,
Excited.
my gift, looking back at how, in a way, 2020 will go down in history once the new year comes around as being one of the worst years for, tragedy. 300,000 something lives lost to this virus. That what you and I, what you started really, Mel, and I joined you thereafter to bring the information to everybody. So what I'm gonna say tonight, what I got most to be thankful for, one is my wife. I am so glad that I can go to bed and I can wake up every single morning and she's right next to me. I don't know what life would be like if she wasn't there. Sometimes I don't know. There's many of you. I'm pretty sure. I get mushy like this one. My wife says, "Don't get mushy," but I get mushy, and I thought myself, what would life be like if I wake up one morning and she's not there? Man, that's gonna be tough. And for
Yeah.
once in my life, I'm gonna say I can be selfish. I wish that it never happens to me. If somebody had to go, I want to go first. I don't know I can handle that, and that's why I last night she and I we laughed. We went out to go look for the stars, and I said, honey, if I knew I was gonna look, I'll try to compare two stars amongst 10 billion stars. I would have told you, nah, I like staying in the house too cold. Was rough. Was rough. I was looking for the stars. She and I was almost like family feud. She goes, Southwest. She goes, that's not Southwest. This is Southwest. I go, what? You get on compass with you? No, this is Southwest. Half the time we was arguing. And what was so funny is everyone knows in Waimea, if you look up that right on the top of the hill by the lookout, there's some homes up there. And
Hmm.
someone always puts up the Christmas lights, like on Christmas tree with a little
Hmm.
star. So it's bright. I go, there, honey, look, 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 there the Christmas star. She go, where? I point to. She goes, ah. You
Yeah,
know,
it's so amazing. You get something like that happen, and the whole world stops to go look at this two planets that are so stinking far away. But oh well, I
yeah.
guess if you saw it, you saw it. I couldn't. The clouds were too much. I couldn't see I couldn't see it. So whatever. I saw a lot of pictures of it on the news, and that's good enough for me. At least I can say I saw it. Anyway,
It was nice.
people, we're gonna. Oh, go ahead, Charlie.
Was nice. It was I was trying to, even though I never know what the hell I was looking at, I said, oh honey, there's the Big Dipper. She goes, well, how can you tell? I said, look like a big dipstick, for your car for check the oil. Look at that long couple stars. He goes, shut up, I don't like listening to you anymore. I get so much fun with her, I tell you. That's
That's
what
good,
life is
man.
about.
That's
They,
it. We've always said we get two of the best wives on the planet, and I think we speak for all the husbands out there that feel the same way. So,
oh, and
yeah.
my daughter, I call her my daughter, our Melissa Bolton, she did it. She did a public service announcement today. Didn't choke or anything. She said, Uncle, I getting queasy. She was nervous. because you asked her to come on the show and she was nervous, right? She didn't want to do it. Well, she did the PSA with Angela King today,
Yep.
and it was a success. She says they were glad she didn't use the word not once, so she's much better than Governor Ige. Not didn't come out not one time, and she did it in one take. And so I said, "Wow, you must have had your script must have been big, right? One take, yeah, one word, hi."
Yeah, well, she will be on when she gets her second shot in the series. She will be on our show to share her experience. She's an expert now. We probably got to pay her now. She's probably a member of the Screen Actors Guild now. She's a union member. Probably gonna have to pay her to come do an appearance, but that's okay. We'll pay her. She deserves it. She's an angel. She's a hero.
You saw that video when she took off her taking that shot, the vaccine shot.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
even with
Yeah.
all her stuff on, this is her going like. That's so cute.
Well, the truth is, I saw part of it because when I saw the needle go in, I passed out. Yeah, I don't like needles. I don't like needles.
Whew.
Anyway, it's giveaway time, people. It is giveaway time, and before we get our guests in, let's do our giveaway again. We do this every night. We're gonna do this right through Christmas Eve.
Okay, we gotta share now. We gotta share the show.
Share it, share it, share it, share it, share it, share it.
Yeah.
Again, Thursday night we'll have our Christmas show, and we'll have some nice gifts to give away. We'll have Santa Claus. We'll have the mayor with a Christmas message. It's gonna be awesome Thursday night. All right, so if you guys know the drill, we roll the dice. We're looking for a 6 or higher. And we have a 6. All right, we have a 6. So we will now go, and this is the list, guys. It's a long list, so it's going to take a little while. 6 times. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I know all you guys checking the list to see if you can see your name. 5. Is that 5?
Yep.
That's 5. The dice says 6. This is the last and final one. Just want to say thank you to Keala Wolf from haumeahawaii.com. She is the one that has donated all these gifts every night for us. So Keala, thank you. And here we go. This is number 6. Good luck, everybody. Boom. Jan Fontaine. Jan Fontaine. Congratulations, Jan. You are the winner for tonight. Email aloha@haumeahawaii.com. Aloha@haumeahawaii.com. Email before 8:30 and hook up with Keala. She will get your gift over to you. Congratulations. And for those of you that have not sent in your name, please go ahead and send it to me in my messenger, not in the comments, not in the text, not on the phone. Send it in messenger. We'll add you to the list. And we're going to have a drawing tomorrow night. What is today? Wednesday night. Oh, we got 2 more nights. 2 more nights. So, all right. Let's get those in. All right. Let's get those in.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go, guys. Congratulations again, Jan. We have grandma, the Japanese grandma, Keiko, from the Japanese Grandma's Cafe. There's the Japanese grandma.
Yeah.
Look at her, so clear.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey. Excuse us. We get so excited when we get video and sound. We get just so excited, and everything is working. So, are you Grandma Keiko?
Well, my mom's Japanese grandma, but I get to be Grandma Keiko in March. My son's fiance is expecting my first grandchild. So I'm so excited.
Congratulations. Yeah, when I put up the graphic earlier, I looked at the picture and said, that doesn't look like a grandma. How do you introduce her?
That's so nice of you. But believe me, I'm well old enough to be a grandma. It's just my kids waited.
Well, Patsy and I are still waiting for our grandkids. And yeah, we're definitely grandparent age already. So anyway, thank you for joining us. You know Charlie up there, Uncle Charlie?
Of
Yes,
course.
yes, yes.
Hi, Charlie.
How are you, my dear? To see you again.
Nice to see you.
Well, again, we trying to, we've been really trying to get our viewers and everyone to support local during these tough, challenging times, and we're trying to solicit, who wants to come on and share the story, share your business, share how Grandma's Cafe, Japanese Grandma's Cafe, started, and the challenges of COVID, and what you're doing to be able to continue to survive. So we'll turn it over to you, Grandma Keiko.
Well, thank you. I just first of all, off the top, want to say thank you so much to all the Kamaina that have been supporting us right from the beginning, and to my wonderful staff who are very much like family to me. And without this, I don't know how I would have made, without these two groups of people, I don't think I could have made it through this crisis. But anyway, Japanese Grandma restaurant was kind of an afterthought, really. About 6 years ago, we came on vacation, stayed on the North Shore like most Californians do. But we went to Waimea and we drove through town and said, oh, we got to come back. So on the way back, we stopped to get coffee at Little Fish, walked around town and read all the placards on the buildings. And it really struck me how wonderful that the former USO building was still standing. So about 3.5 months later, my younger son became a commercial real estate agent. He knew I loved Kauai. And he says, Mom, there's a cool building for sale. The minute I saw the building, I recognized it. It was that USO building. So that became my mission to try to save this historic building. And I wasn't sure what I was going to do with the building at first. So I got one of those little phone books, local phone book, which I hadn't seen probably since 1985 in Los Angeles. I looked through it and I realized, okay, there's a lot of Japanese last names. And I started connecting the dots and I thought, okay, so what are my fondest memories, my kids' fondest memories, most people's fondest memories? And we realized that it was dinner with family gatherings. So my parents owned restaurants when I was a kid, and I thought, okay, well, maybe I can start a restaurant. I was very fortunate to find my sushi chef, Shinji Ueki. And one thing led to another, and here we are a little over 5 years later, and we're doing okay, even though we're, I can't say that business is great, but we're doing okay. We will survive this. Getting together staff and proper chefs for the business was tough, and I certainly have developed such close relationships with the people that work with me that the last thing I wanted to do was lay people off. And so the PPP and the idle loans were integral to us staying in business. The first thing I did was thought, okay, I want to protect my staff, my family. What do I do? So I went out and pre-bought way back in end of February. I had some inkling from what my family in Japan was telling me that this virus was a bad one. So I started to buy sanitation items, gloves, masks before they were recommending it. But because I'm kind of a germaphobe anyway, I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to get this stuff just in case. And we bought these really sensitive air purifiers for the restaurant. But then when we realized, oh gosh, social distancing, we're only going to be able to fit 10 to 12 people in the restaurant, we rushed and we got our outside garden together. So by having the garden, we've been able to seat socially distanced enough people at one time to be able to stay in business. So very fortunate to have that.
Wow, that's I mean, having that foresight, especially, knowing, because one thing Mel and I always said before, way back when in the police department, I used to have, when I did extraditions back and forth from Maui to Oahu and the other islands, I would always catch a flight when there would be a Japanese individual, and they always wore a mask. And we
Yeah.
thought way back when, this was back in the 80s and 90s. I said, that is weird. Not, fast forward to now, that'll be the new norm. So I look back and I was telling Stephanie, and I was even sharing this with Mel. I said, they knew something way back when. And so now it's not so weird anymore. And so, you having that insight, from your family telling you that, hey, something's coming down the pike and it doesn't look good. I'm glad you took it because, when Steph and I, and Mel, I gotta tell you, I gotta take you to this restaurant. I mean, have you been there before? You have.
Yes, I have. I have. In fact, I think we were there for a Zonta function. We had stopped there to pick up some of the world famous sushi.
Yes, you got
I
it.
mean, if you haven't been, it's a great segue. If you haven't been to Japanese grandma's, is it cafe or restaurant?
Cafe. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because anyway, if you haven't, you gotta go check it out. Where exactly are you located? If for the person that's not familiar with Hanapepe.
Well, we're not on the highway. We're on the old road. So that's one road. I guess that's to the
Mountainside,
to the
mountainside.
Malka side, right? Yeah, it is to the Malka side. It's the old road. And historically, it was a really happening town. And when I got there, it was starting to show some life. But right now, we're very blessed in old Hanapepe town to have Midnight Bear Bakery, which is, I think, the best bakery on the island, owned by two very sweet people. And the old Hanapepe Cafe has been reopened by the granddaughter Kule, Helen's granddaughter. So that's really nice. Bobby's has stayed open the whole time. JJ Ohanas has been open the whole time. And so we do have a really nice, and Amaze Catering and MCS. So there are quite a few food and Wong's and Kawaii Cookie. There's quite a few of us that have stayed open during this whole time. So for those of you that, live on the east side or perhaps the North Shore, if you're coming down there, try to get it to go from somewhere, eat at one of our places, get 2 meals in one trip, because we really appreciate it.
Yep.
Definitely no shortage of food places in Hanapepe, actually on the west side. But Hanapepe still has that local old school style, the old town feel. It's Kauai's biggest little town. That's what's on the sign. And for those of you that haven't been down there, you got to get down there. And supporting local businesses really. I see Randy Francisco is on watching, and he's been working very hard to promote our local businesses. So yeah, man, we can do this. We keep talking about it. The sushi. How did you find this sushi chef?
Well, Shin was referred to me by somebody else, but I had met him since the early referral, time and time again on North Shore Oahu. And when I was opening the restaurant, it was first going to be like a musubi cafe, like a really simple to-go place. But as I was staying on island and we were refurbishing the building, I realized, you know what, there really isn't like a Japanese restaurant over here. So called up Shin and had him fly out. He came out and Shin says, I love it here. So knowing that I could have this very experienced, wonderful chef, we got him to move out here and he plans to be here for the rest of his life.
Well, when I first met him, he really is a very personable individual. Just watching his, sometimes I feel, in a way, I feel sorry I'm going to eat that sushi. It's a work of art. I got to tell you. Steph had asked me, she goes, honey, what's wrong? I says, honey, can I just sit here and just look at this sushi? It's nice, the way he plates it. And, even some of his other dishes. And why don't you tell the folks, maybe some of your main items that are good sellers there? Give them kind of an idea what you have there.
Yes, so we import Hokkaido uni, which I had no idea how much locals love uni. And so we have that most times. We had a short time there where we couldn't get it because the flights had stopped from Japan, but we have it now. We have Hokkaido crab, we have ikura. And Shinsan marinates the ikura himself, so it has a very delicate taste, doesn't taste fishy at all. And we do have otoro, which is fatty bluefin tuna belly. And that is the creme de la creme of tuna. So we usually have that. And he does some really wonderful usuzukuri, which is a thinly sliced sashimi with yuzu fruit, like the rind, and he just seasons it so well. And he's very specific. He'll tell the servers, hey, tell the customer no sauce on this. Tell them no sauce. So please listen when he says no sauce, because he's gone through the trouble of marinating and all kinds of stuff. And, you know, he and I have developed over time recipes for all the sauces. We, in the beginning, had a young man who had culinary training by Jogo Bashan and Wolfgang Puck, and went to Culinary Institute in Napa Valley. He happens to be one of my younger son's best friends, and I've known him since he was 3 months old. So Tom came on island and showed my kitchen staff how to do techniques like sous videing the chicken, pan searing and low heat cooking of beef. And I'm so happy to say that we've been able to take young men and women, young folks straight out of mostly Waimea High School. They sometimes start their senior year of high school and they come in and work part-time. And we've been able to really develop a strong staff that way. And they're learning the fine art of tasting, what should this Japanese food taste like? And we talk about not island style Japanese food. We really am trying to get them to learn Japanese, true Japanese traditional taste. So that's a real fun thing for us.
Wow.
Well, I'm getting really, really, really hungry, you know, like really, really, really hungry. I don't eat uni, but you made it sound so delicious that I might have to go out there and try your uni. Um,
Yeah, I just wanted to say, you know, this restaurant business is tough, even in the best of times. And so the challenges that we as an industry are facing, I have a lot of business experience in other areas. And the first thing I do is I admit that I know nothing in a lot of different areas. So I get a lot of consultation and advice from professionals. And for the young restaurateur that's starting now or having problems, reach out to people with experience and, you know, get their words of wisdom. As I tell my sons, you know, this is an unprecedented event. I can only share anecdotal or what I think is good advice, but it always helps to have other people to share your thoughts with.
Good advice. Good advice. You guys hear that? I know a lot of people. I watch the all those restaurant shows on the Food Network, and you see these guys. They buy a restaurant, they dump their retirement, everything in the restaurant, have no restaurant experience, and then they find themselves in trouble very quickly because it's not an easy business to operate. So yeah, kudos to you and your staff, to anyone that's getting through this pandemic. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, and Kauai, you know, I do believe that it's good for us to be closed. I know it's probably goes the grain in some ways, but we do need at least 2 tests, I believe. My husband works in the film industry, and I know that they are testing at least twice a week to make sure that nobody on set is ill, because sometimes they don't show symptoms. So slowing it down right now is very unfortunate for business. But as I keep telling my family, this year, the holidays, our number one goal is to focus on each other's health so that we could have many more holidays together in the future.
You know, I'm so appreciative of you saying that, because you know, going through this opening and closing, I don't know how many times the people can withstand that, but I'm glad the fact that, you know, we can elect to stay open or not. We have that choice right now. Um, as you know, Honolulu and its businesses is getting pretty close to stepping back from a tier 2 to a tier 1, which means you know, salons, everything shuts down. They have no choice. We have that choice now, and keeping everyone in check is a good thing, I believe. Just keep everyone in check, stay healthy. But you know, getting to the point where you're saying about restaurants, you know, we were just talking about Alan Wong the other night. You know, being the master that he is. Um, you have some of these newcomers that like you said, they have no idea what a restaurant is about, and it's like a train wreck ready to happen because they don't get the right advice because they think of it in a certain perspective the way they think, but yet that kind of goes what may not be the right setting for a success story, you know. So I guess when you open up your business, you have to kind of look far in advance. What can be the success if what route do you take? And having the ability to call an audible play in case something like what we're having now with this pandemic, you're able to shift at the last moment and still make it work. And I'm really glad that you folks elected to stay open. Because there are some places that just said, you know, it's and I get it. I get it. It's more expensive for them to stay open than try to make it because maybe for some reason the number counts are so low, they just can't break even. But you know, having that option of you know, and that's one thing I sort of miss in a way being from Honolulu. You can go to any restaurant you want, you know, Japanese restaurant and find good food. And it's tough here on Kauai. But having something out, especially on the west side, such as yours, it's like a godsend. For many of us who, you know, I know one of your favorite customers is a Thomas Nizo. He's always he's always posting something in Facebook. So and when he does that, he, you know, by the time the post comes out, which is 10 something at night, almost 11, I'm like, well, she's closed already, but why did he have to show us that now?
Yeah, it's been people like Thomas that have really, and it's what makes me want to stay open. It really does. And you're right, like people have to realize it's not a simple thing. A restaurant has many moving parts and we deal with perishable goods. So, as simple as the idea may seem, like if I'm a good chef, I could do this. Having a really proper business plan and having a partnership with a banker. Like this time, I went to a new banker. I went to Jonathan Murata at First Hawaiian, and he was wonderful to me. He helped me get the PPP loan and really cared. And there's so many people here on the island that care. And so it's humbling to go to someone and say, I need help. And it's very hard to do that. But for those of you who are kind of wondering, what should I do? Please know that there's so many that want to help.
All right. Well, as we man, the time goes by so fast sometimes,
I
it
know.
just does. But how can people find out more about I know you have a Facebook page, you have other social media, and oops, uh-oh. Oh, okay. Whoo, scared. You got a
Yes,
call, huh? You
it's
got a
Japanese
call.
Grandma. I know. I'm sorry. It's Japanese Grandma Cafe. It's JapaneseGrandmas.com. JapaneseGrandma.com. And you can always go to the website and you can order there. You can make a reservation, all kinds of things on our website. And that was done by Jackson Communication, another island business that we hooked up with that was very integral in getting that website updated.
And what's your phone number there if they want to call to come in and
it's 855-5016.
855-5016. Okay, gang, you heard it right. You heard it straight. 855-5016. Hanapepe Town rocks with Japanese food if that's what you're looking for. And Grandma is Japanese Grandma's Cafe, right?
Yes. But the website is just Japanese Grandma.
Okay. Just Google them, whatever you go to Facebook. They have a Japanese Grandma's Cafe. Send a message. The bottom line is this, people. Wherever you live on the island, make your way down to Hanapepe Town, the old Hanapepe Town, which is the inside road, and go stop by, say hello, tell Grandma Keiko that you saw her on the Mel and Charlie show, and grab some sushi. You're gonna love it. And again, supporting local business, keeping people working. That's the whole objective here. So thank you so much for sharing your time with us.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thank you for all that you're doing.
You're welcome, and Merry Christmas to you and your entire family.
You too.
Aloha.
Aloha. Aloha.
Ooh, I'm hungry.
Oh, brother, hungry is an understatement. Hungry, you know what? I gotta drink water. Hang on.
Woo.
Oh my Lord. Now, oh, go ahead.
You know the when he has it, when you ask that sushi chef for
Oh,
sashimi, you know the hamachi.
yes.
Oh, he cuts it thin, and you know when she talks about the yuzu, it's almost like a ponzu. You know that citrusy shoyu. So you don't need all that wasabi, and you don't need that. It's just like it's a lightly coated onto the fish, and you just eat it like that, and it just goes down too fast. I mean, maybe you should tie a noose around your neck so you swallow a lot slower. I don't know. It just goes. It just
I know the feeling, bro. There's no eating slow at Grandma Keiko's or Japanese grandma's cafe. There's no eating slow. All right,
yeah.
now we're going to the other side of the island. We're going to go to Hanalei Poi, and there. Look, we're in the Lo'i. We're in the taro field right now with Lyndsey Haraguchi.
Yes.
I cannot believe it's still sunny out there on the North Shore. Yeah, it's dark over here in Wailua. How are you,
How are you
Lyndsey?
guys doing? Hanging
Doing
in there, right?
Hanging in there like everybody else. You know Uncle Charlie up there on the screen.
yes.
Actually, I can't see him. I only can see you.
Yeah.
Ah, now I can see him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello. I think the last time we met, we were at the Honolulu Country Club having lunch with a group of with Brian Watanabe and some of the other guys.
Yeah, trying to get farm fresh food, right? Available for schools. That was way before the pandemic.
Right. Right.
Well, Lyndsey, thank you for joining us tonight. I know
Oh, no,
it's late.
thank you.
What time is it now in Hanalei?
In Honolulu. 7:25. Feels
Oh,
like
okay.
later, right? Usually around 10 p.m. is when I get my second win, so I can work on spreadsheets, pay bills.
Well, I know the people that don't know Lyndsey are looking and saying, "Oh, she must be the owner. She must be the CEO. She must be the accountant. She must be whatever." I don't. If they don't know you, I know one thing. One thing they don't think you are is a farmer, because you don't look like a farmer. But you know, this is a farmer. This girl can farm. This girl gets dirty. She's incredible. And not only that, you know, Lyndsey, we had that opportunity once coming back from Honolulu to sit on in the same row, and I got to learn a lot about you and what you do and what Hanalei Poi does for the community, for the keiki, and I was so impressed and so thankful that we had that opportunity to share a little bit. And you guys are just amazing in the community. But why don't you start off by talking a little bit about yourself, your Hanalei Poi, and the challenges. You guys get challenges from the flood. You get the challenges from COVID. How you guys do it?
Well, we're Hanalei Taro, and a lot of it is just, perseverance. I'm actually gonna wait. Let me stand up real quick so I can kick off knives and stuff real quick, and then sit back down. But so yeah, I still have my jeans from that I was wearing today, right? All day. But it's very much perseverance, right? In our family, whether it was playing for, an underdog sports team in high school, right, in KIF, or, farming on the farm, it's generations, right? And when we think back on how much, we may have struggles now, right? But when we think back about generations prior, yeah. So for example, during the war, my grandfather and his brothers went to enlist in the military. And when my grandfather went to enlist, right, grandpa's 98 years young. He's about this tall, shy, humble guy. And when he went to enlist, they asked him, what is your occupation? And he said, "Oh, I'm just a farmer." And they said, "Well, actually, you know, you're not just a farmer, right? Because during the war, um, you know, just as there are challenges about sustainability now, you know, there weren't a lot of ships of food coming in during that period. So they asked him to continue to farm. And instead of just farming taro and rice and soybeans at that time, they actually asked him to help farm more vegetables and truck crops, beans, cucumbers, tomatoes, right? Because of, you know, the lack of ships that were coming in providing food, not only for Kauai and Kama'aina across Hawaii, but also for United States military at Pearl Harbor. So he took it to heart, and till this day, no matter how many floods washed over his garden on the farm, you know, or how the nene love to eat cucumbers when they're young, you know, he still continues to garden on the farm and drive tractors every day. So, you know, even though my back is sore and I was in the chiropractor, you know, a couple weeks ago, I look at him or I look at my father, Rodney, and I'm like, well, you know, Dad doesn't drink coffee and he's out there every day at sunrise. So I was like, ooh, okay, I better get going, you know, so.
Well,
You know, I'm glad I was off camera because while you were talking, Patsy came in with the frying pan and gave me one crack in the head because it's not Hanalei Poi, it's Hanalei Taro.
Yeah.
I am so sorry. I am, you know, because I'm thinking about food and it's Hanalei Taro. I'm sorry. So now I got one tonkobu on my head because Patsy came with the, Charlie, just like Stephanie, the
huh?
frying pan. Patsy's like Stephanie, you know, the frying pan.
No, I gave up using frying pans. We use all disposable because sore on the head. You know what I mean? But I would like to say one thing. Your dad, because I would get up early mornings. Well, I don't know how many years ago, but I would get up early mornings to go be first in line to go grab one bento from Ishihara. And there's your father he brings over the kulolo, right?
Oh yeah, I got some here.
And that means
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
he drove all the way from Hanalei all the way to Ishihara to make his deliveries. And then then I met him. We would attend certain functions together, and I met your mom and started to talk to your dad more. And he's just a humble guy. You look at him, you'd never think anything other than this guy's a very personable, very quiet individual, but very interesting. When he says something, it's amazing. And he was telling me about even up to recently with the floods, I guess it was 2018, 19, the
Yeah,
big
2018 April.
right, the rice mill, right?
Mhm.
And he talked about that. And so I asked him the same question. I said, brother, what you guys gonna do? He says, hey, the floods is a regular occurrence, he said. So, we gotta do what we gotta do. And just to hear that, I went, wow, that takes a lot. Because to me, the average person would just give up and says, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. But your dad, I guess he takes after your grandpa too. Nothing is too big that they cannot overcome, right? Nothing is too big. Amazing, amazing.
that's one of the things I think, Lyndsey, the resilience. I've spoken to your dad and so many times, and so many obstacles. The birds, everybody
Mhm.
everybody wants to save the birds. Everybody wants to save, the this endangered species, but the endangered species of kalo of taro at risk because these birds can go in and eat all the babies and the flooding. I remember your dad telling me that the equipment, all your tractors got just submerged, and it was just hundreds of thousands of dollars in damages. And I remember being at one of the community meetings where we're getting assistance, getting insurance, and all of it was so difficult. It was just like Charlie said, so much easier to just throw in the towel and say, screw this, we're not going to do this. But Hanalei Taro just continues to go and continue to serve. Explain to us about, there is a shortage of taro. You guys are producing quite a bit of it, but it's hard work. When did you start? When were you first put in the field and start working in the field? And I pulled taro one time. That was it. That was
it.
Yeah.
Um, I believe it was 2 years old. My mom tells a story about, I don't think it was, like a slow introduction into the lo'i. It was, our ohana was harvesting in the lo'i, and my mom said I was a toddler, right, 2 years old, and I was playing on the grass, the lo'i grass embankments, right? You can, this way, right, on the grass embankment, and they're harvesting, and I was reaching for a kalo leaf, and before, mother's instinct, before she could say, I was head first in the lo'i. So my mom said that, I was like 2 feet, 2 legs sticking up out of the mud like this. They had to pop me out of the mud there, and, driving tractors solo from 6 years old and stuff. And I think it's just part of that era too, what was needed, right? So my mother actually had a miscarriage between my brother and I, and I'm the oldest in our immediate family. And so we would have had a sibling 3 years apart, but she had a miscarriage, and it's it's very labor intensive on the farm, right? So if you pick up, a bag of rice, a bag of kalo, 2 buckets of taro, and, so what happens is I started driving a tractor at 6 years old to help my father do flood evacuation procedures. And, when you evacuate during the floods, of course, no matter what happens, people are always a priority, right? So, you want to make sure everybody's safe. And then we evacuate the huli, the kalo seedlings, because once they get washed away, you need taro to replant the lo'i. And then tractors, because once those tractor engines get flooded, it's a very costly repair. So I would jump on a tractor, my dad would jump on the other, and 2 by 2, we'd drive it up into the valley, park it on the side of the mountain, run back down, jump on the next set of tractors. And, for me, when I was young, I thought this is awesome. I get to drive, a tractor by myself. And, I think our parents always made it fun. It wasn't always, hey, hurry up, get in the lo'i, we gotta harvest, X amount of bags today or whatnot. It was made fun, so it was always something to look for. It was like, oh, you harvest, help harvest this field, you help weed this patch, then you can drive tractor until the next field, so it was always something that we look forward to.
Now let me ask you if with the taro in the marketplace now, how is it? I know at one time there was a period where it was just so hard to get taro any place, and I think it was during the period of flooding. And right now, is Kauai the #1 producer, or is it pretty much there's a certain percentage?
Yeah, so I think, well, if you look up like USDA statistics, right, 2005, I believe there was about 120 taro farmers statewide. Because of the challenges, last I checked, which was before the April 2018 floods, and then of course, beginning the pandemic, March 2020, we had another flood. So the artifacts that we were able to salvage from our, nonprofit agrarian museum, the agriculture artifacts, they got flooded again. So now we gotta go through all that again. But it's very much, it affects farms in so many different ways, because even when it's not flooding and it's pouring rain, it's affecting, you know, photosynthesis, the growth of the taro, right? Its resiliency to pest or plant disease, right? Kauai, we also have a lot of wild boars and stuff too. Wild boars love to eat kalo. Then of course we have invasive species, the apple snails, which started becoming prevalent in the 90s, you know. And then there's also different plant diseases that affect the taro too. So when it floods, a lot of the taro that gets washed away, it takes, you know, farmers time to plant, right? Plant, recover, and if there's no seedlings, like for example, the lo'i behind us is actually the one that's closest to Hanalei River. So when there's a flood, it's very common that a third of this field would get washed out, sometimes 2/3. And if it's mid growth, right? If it's at 5, 6, 7, 8 months, you can't really replant the areas that got washed away, you know, because then it's going to be at different heights. They're all not going to be ready to harvest around the same time. And when the seedlings get washed away, you have to look at the fields that did survive, you know. So after the April floods, a lot of the taro that got washed away, the fields that did survive, some of them we actually had to harvest earlier, sacrifice them so that we could have huli seedlings to plant into the next field. You know, so it was, it's definitely challenging, right? But when we look at the community pulling together, it's good that, you know, you guys do this to support, you know, small Kauai businesses, you know, help raise awareness, spread the word and things, because, you know, on a day-to-day basis where, you know, on the farm you're harvesting and you're cooking and you're okay, there's, you know, farmers market, okay, at the food truck, you know, you kind of running around all day. And I kind of talked to Patsy about it yesterday, right? So she texted me, and then I didn't see it because I didn't get to eat lunch till past 2 o'clock. And then so she called me, and I was like, oh, okay, what is it about, you know? So it's a lot of day to day, but being able to, you know, interact with the community safely, right? During this era, it makes a big difference. You know, we're continuing our nonprofit education programs a little bit differently. We're not able to do field trips in the lo'i. So I'm actually meeting with teachers on Zoom or Google Meet and a little bit WebEx, trying to learn virtual stuff.
Well, Lyndsey, you're in the field during the day. You're farming. You're getting dirty and digging, just working hard. And then at night you deal with books and spreadsheets, and then I understand you're working towards your PhD currently. Good luck. Go get it done, Dr. Lyndsey. Oh my gosh, can you imagine that, Charlie? Dr. Lyndsey. Ooh.
Yep.
But I wanted to kind of share with us the educational opportunities that you have done with our Keiki. Obviously, like you just mentioned, it's changed quite a bit because of COVID, but you know, you have introduced a lot of our local kids to kalo, to taro, to the lo'i. How has that been impacted?
It's been quite a change. So my parents actually started it. In fact, my mother. So Carol's background, you know, my parents met in college, and my mother's background, she's actually an educator, a teacher, right? So that's how we have the marriage of education and farming, right? My father's a farmer, my mother's an educator, and it was actually her point of view. Because as a farmer, you know, we're kind of focused on, okay, yeah, we do have to plan ahead, right? Because you got to plan quite 16 months or more for the kalo harvest and stuff. But as a farmer, you're kind of focused on, okay, what has to be done? How can we, provide for the community, okay, I got to get another back brace, stuff like that. And my mother's viewpoint was, she realized that nowhere else in the state of Hawaii are children going to be able to come and learn, right? Preserved, to see some of the preserved agricultural artifacts that date back prior to the 1800s. So it was actually, with her foresight and thought, they formed a 501c3 nonprofit when I was a baby. And when I was in elementary, they started doing a lot of the education programs. So I actually remember in 4th grade coming on a field trip to our own farm. And I was the shy kid in the back of the class, and my father was doing the helping teach that day. And he said, Lyndsey, I know you're here. Took the bus to school today. So I was like, oh, hiding in the back of the class. And he said, why don't you come, jump in the lo'i, show your class how to harvest. And I was like, oh man, I got to work on a field trip, So, but, now looking back on it, it's a good experience, right? And that's what we do when pre-COVID, right? So children would come with their teachers. We have different hands-on activities to appeal to, different sensory experiences, as well as to be able to see the artifacts, learn about the agricultural history, environmental awareness, right? As well as the importance of sustainability. And not just, agricultural artifacts that are on our farm, but it's really the stories of families farming in the community, right? Because of the agricultural history, not only of Kauai, but the entire state of Hawaii, right? From the different eras, from war, to, using a water buffalo to a horse, to our first John Deere tractor, so it was really good to see them interact. And I would actually fly to Oahu, teach kids on Oahu, but I haven't left the island this whole year because of everything going on, right? Grandma and grandpa are 98, 96. We want to keep them safe. So we actually closed down the in-person education programs early on in March, just to be preventative. No matter what happens, the health and safety of the community, right, of our team, of our family is most important. So we had to close down the in-person education programs, and then we moved to takeout only at the food trucks. And of course, during the shutdown, we also started putting farm fresh food products online, right? So we had Kulolo online prior to the pandemic. When the pandemic started, there was a local Kauai family that used to come every Saturday to the farmers market at KCC, right? The Kauai community Farm Bureau Farmers Market at KCC that was on Saturdays, and they would buy poi. And the mother of the ohana, they had to move to Washington. She reached out to me on social media and emailed, and then, we got to talking over the phone, and she said, every week we would come, we would buy poi from you guys. It's one of the few things that her son, who is autistic, could consume without any, allergic reactions. So she said, how can you send me poi to Washington? And this was like March, April, and I was like, ooh, that's a lot of logistics, So we worked on it, a lot of sleepless nights, and we got poi, and then people in California, like my brother, he had his first baby in California, and he's in an apartment there. He said, hey, can you maybe mail some of mom's taro mochi cake? And I was like, okay, let's get that online, and then of course adding, cooked taro, people can put in their stews, soups and stuff. and then also the Hanalei Taro veggie burgers. A family in New York reached out to us and asked. So it was really interesting. If we didn't, if people didn't reach out and let us know, I wouldn't have gone through the trouble logistically to try to figure out how to make it work, and I know, thank you guys. I know Mel, Patsy, you guys have ordered food online and then gifted it to your kids, your son on the mainland and stuff, and send it to them. And you can, people can type in their gift notes and stuff, and then we include it in the package for free for them. So, it's really interesting being able to help serve the community and try to get, looking at it from other people's viewpoint. Right? If they're in a lockdown in California, right, and they cannot leave, they're stuck in an apartment, they're craving poi and kulolo and taro burgers, how can they, enjoy it fresh to their door? That's really what it took a while, but a lot of logistics, right? But, to see people happy, that's the main thing.
I gotta tell you, my son got the poi, and he's a personal trainer up there. One of his clients is from Hawaii originally. He's an MMA guy or jiu-jitsu guy, but the guy did a Instagram because my son shared some of the poi with his friend.
Oh, nice.
The guy freaked out, like poi in Oregon, but it was easy. Patsy did the order, got it sent over to Oregon, and it was amazing. That is, again, everyone here can support local. I know everyone, majority of us have family or friends on the mainland that would love to have some poi. And you can do it through Hanalei Taro. You can have Hanalei Taro take care of all of that for you. You can do it online and get it shipped out, and it works. My son he's stoked. He's amazed. Like, how the heck he was able to do that? Well, it was a Hanalei Taro. It's pretty cool. I'm really hungry now, Charlie. I'm like really, really hungry now.
Well, I wanna ask a question. Now, your taro fields, they're located when you go over the bridge and you turn right going towards the town. Those first fields right there, that's your family fields right there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's about 8 farmers total in Hanalei Valley. We're up close by the bridge.
Yeah.
And if you've seen the news during the April 2018 flood, you saw the roof of our house, right? And then all flood water. You couldn't even see the kalo leaves, right? It was just all flooded.
Well, the reason I ask you is I think in '79, we used your property when they filmed Uncommon Valor with Gene Hackman and Patrick. That we used your field as we took all the taro out and they planted like buffalo grass. So from afar, it looked like rice fields.
Yeah.
And that's what we did the POWs escaping from the camp.
Yeah, I don't remember because I was too young. But my father said that I had lunch with Gene Hackman, but I don't remember. I think I was a baby, or maybe Lucky Fan was like 1 year old at the time. But yeah,
it was a sight to behold. I never thought we could make a taro field look like a rice paddy. It was supposed to resemble a Vietnam, the rice paddies in Vietnam. So it was kind of neat how they did it. But so okay, now I know where your fields are. Yeah. It's right next to the highway,
Yeah, my father said that some of the actors and extras, they had to run through the lo'i over and over, to film, like they're getting shot, right? So they gotta, make like they're running through. And a couple of them told him after several takes, they're like, geez, they're like, how do you guys do this all day? They go through it 3 times and they're like, okay, cut.
Yeah, I really don't think that people can appreciate the hard work to produce or to get the taro and create the poi. What's the limits of your shipping? Can you ship to Canada? Can you ship to Japan? Can you ship anywhere in the world, or is it pretty limited?
Just in the United States for now.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's order by Friday, 7 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. Our order period is Saturday through Friday. So if we harvest and we cook in small batches, so the earlier in the week that you order, if you order Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, don't wait till Friday, 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Because we only put up a limited amount that, we know that we can, harvest and stuff. So we harvest and cook fresh to order, and then it ships out early in the morning. It's definitely not automated. It's done by hand. So when, for example, when Patsy orders, right, and then she gets an email alert at odd times, like at 11 o'clock at night or 12 a.m. or 1 a.m., it's actually me on the computer, trying to make sure everything gets out and stuff. So, during the evening is when, the kids, the Kiki go to bed. Okay, pay bills, spreadsheets, try to catch up on stuff. So, sometimes calling might not be the best way because I'm either, helping in the kitchen or, cutting raw taro.
I tell you, man, this is like amazing. This is so amazing. No one would ever know. Now, we're running out of time, but what is the best way? You got a website, you got a Facebook, or what's the best way if someone, I have a feeling you're going to get some orders. I think you're going to get some orders tonight. And I know it's Christmas coming up, but what's the best way for people? What's the website or social media? What's the best way that people get in touch with you?
It's HanaleITaro.com. So the best way is to go online at HanaleITaro.com to place an order. We have, like right now, if you order, we'll get it out before New Year's. And the Christmas orders went yesterday, but it's not too late for the procrastinators or for people that, we get too busy sometimes and we're like, oh shoot, you might have forgotten somebody. We actually have gift cards that you can email or print at home. So if it's a last minute option. And then every week we're harvesting, cooking, sending out fresh batches. So ordering online at HanaleITaro.com, proceeds from all the orders goes towards our 501c3 nonprofit, Ho'opulapula Haraguchi Rice Mill, a Gary Museum. And the mission of the nonprofit, right? Ho'opulapula means to plant the seedlings of. So whether it was planting seedlings of kalo or rice or vegetables during the war, it's also about planting seeds of knowledge and education of agriculture and environmental awareness, right? In children and in the next generation, and really showing appreciation for our kupuna, right? And all that, our ancestors and generations before have sacrificed, because when we think of how hard it is now, it's also the challenges that they had to go through, have been, for example, miscarriages run in our family, and it's not blood related because people are marrying into the farming family, right? But it's the amount of labor, right? So when I was Hapai, the OB at Wilcox was like, get out of the lo'i, go teach, go do something else while you're pregnant, so it's very much really focusing on how we can continue to persevere while continuing to help serve the community. So we've been very thankful and grateful to be able to continue to work with farming co-ops like Hawaii Farm Bureau, Kauai County Farm Bureau, working and helping food banks every week. Just seeing the amount of need because of everything going on, it's shocking, but it's also amazing to see the community come together, right? To help provide for the community, for everybody that's going through it.
Well, I'd like to say I'm just listening to you, and it's it's almost as if I'm stepping back in time. That's the feeling, because you said everything that you folks do pretty much is by hand. It's not an for your family operation. It's not that much automation involved. Everything is done by hand. So it's almost like me being Hawaiian, stepping back, trying to trace back those steps on how poi was put on the table, or how it was done. And I can see why there's an educational factor to all of this.
And even during the challenges, like, okay, so the April 2018 flood took out the farmhouse, the farm office, the nonprofit museum, which Hurricane Iniki didn't take out the whole farmhouse. Hurricane Iniki took off the roof, So to have, an unexpected, huge, historic 100-year flood take out all those buildings and stuff, it was being able to go on the journey of rebuilding the farmhouse. I told my parents, oh, let's save, the 2x4, the plank on the frame on the door where we all measured, put our heights as we were growing up, things like that to save. But, with all the floods and stuff, when we're harvesting in the fields and stuff, we'll continue to find other artifacts, for the museum. So we do have a lot of the, Pohaku Ku'i'ai, but seeing some of the ulumaikas, the ads, and then you can see like the history, right? Because then there's also inkwells and, all the, like from the plantation era and stuff like that, to a lot of the glass bottles when there was no county trash pickup, right? And stuff too. You'll see a lot of the glass bottles and stuff from that era. So I do have, a heart for artifacts and, old school kind of stuff like fountain pens and things too, because, that's kind of, it's looking at all the history and stuff too. So.
Wow. Unbelievable. Very inspirational, Lyndsey. Appreciate you coming on tonight and sharing. My God, we could have a 2-hour show just with you and sharing the experiences. If you've never jumped in a taro patch before, you really don't know what it's like. Like I said, I went one time and I went down to like my knees. My partner, Dwayne Souza, went down to his waist because he was about 300 pounds. So he went deeper. Almost needed the tractor to pull him out, but we were able to get him out. But it's you go to the store, you buy the poi, it looks all nice in the bag, and you come home and you eat them. Now, hopefully, you guys understand. If you didn't already know, that it takes a lot of work. And Lyndsey, you're probably one of the hardest working women I know out there, and I challenge any guy out there to go challenge you in a kalo picking or harvesting contest. I put all my money on Lyndsey. Absolutely. So HanaleTaro.com, guys. Go on there tonight. Go place an order. Support local business, and let's really take care of our own. Charlie.
Well, I'd like to say first of all, thank you to Keiko and now the lovely Miss Lyndsey Haraguchi from Hanalei Taro. I want to thank you both so much for being on tonight, giving a glimpse to our people, during this troubling times of this pandemic, what the community can do, what you've done for the community. And I think you said it best, is that when it's a yin and a yang, just like for Mel and I, it takes two from opposite ends working together to, keeping everything together as one. And I like the fact that you've tied in the marriage of the hard work of being a farmer with education. And I look at that, and it sounds to me that you could use internships, if people wanted to get into farming, because now we talk about sustainability, right? Because we don't know what tomorrow is going to promise. It's everything is based on what can you handle, what can you grow, what can you do to feed your community, to keep your community strong. And I think that's going to be the continued direction that we have to go. So I just like to say thank you so much for sharing your mana'o, your insights on what we can do. And I hope the viewers out there learned a little about your your family, your operation, and what you do, and congratulations on your continuing of your education towards your PhD. Um, and I know it's not easy. It's not easy being a mom, being a business owner, and taking all of this into consideration, and going back to school and getting your degree. It's simply amazing. So thank you very much.
Lyndsey, I forgot to ask you, we know about HanaleITaro.com. You can order online, but if someone wanted to pick up your kulolo is the bomb. That kulolo is just amazing. But if you're on Kauai and you wanted to pick up your poi or your kulolo, where can people get them?
So we used to be open every day in Hanalei at the Hanalei food truck, but with the pandemic and everything, if you harvest a lot and you cook a lot and then not enough people come, then it's kind of poho, right? You don't want to waste it. So in Hanalei, instead of being open every day, we're only open Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, 11 to 3. And then every Saturday at the Puhi Farmers Market from 9:30 to about 12 noon or till sold out, because it's a little bit unpredictable, right? Sometimes somebody standing in line might grab like 10 kulolos, so it's kind of hard to predict. But we want to make sure that that we're there for everybody as much as we can. During the lockdown, we were, and still do. There's kupuna on the west side and in Kapa'a and Anahola, that get 2 pounds of poi or however, with kulola or whatnot delivered to their door every week, so they said it just helps make it easier for them. So we'll still always continue to do that. And if anybody has tips, right, because you guys play ukulele musical instruments, right? Do you ever get sore on your arm and stuff too? So do you practice? Do you switch out?
Sometime, well, I know people that have, but us that haven't taken formal training, that just play by ear, we just rough it through whenever we can. We're not gonna switch out.
Yeah. So the machete hand, I'm trying to do more things with the other hand. So, it's a learning process, right? So you can keep going. So, but
I will
mahalo
just
you
go
guys
to
for
Puhi.
listening.
I will just go to Puhi or order online. I don't worry about the machete hands.
Yeah.
No, I remember.
But
Yeah, it's just no fun. But anyway, Lyndsey, thank you so much.
Mahalo, you guys.
Amazing story. Amazing business. Resilient. It's just your parents are amazing people. Yeah, I love you guys so much. You guys work so hard for the community as well. We didn't have enough time to talk about all that you do in the community, but for the viewers out there, just know that this family has done so much for our community island wide. So thank you for all of that. And again, support local. Go to the Puhi market, go online, HanaleITaro.com or Japanese Grandma's Cafe as well. And let's start patronizing our local people. So support local. Now, when you go to Puhi or when you get your taro or whatever, take a picture and post it with the hashtag Hanalei Taro. So we remind ourselves and each other that for us to get through this pandemic, we have to support local. All right, guys. Tomorrow night, people, 7 o'clock, same place, same time. If you didn't submit your name for the drawing. We got 2 more nights of drawings. That's about it. You guys take care. God bless. Love you guys. Aloha. No,
Aloha.
Lyndsey, here we go. Aloha.